Hello, people. I haven't done one of these for a while, so I thought I would, whilst I'm in the process of doing my integrated brain workings, I thought I'd share one with you. Now, this one, I'm currently putting together the Equity Online branch newsletter. So that's been done in Google Drive. So far, so good. Now, to get that done simultaneously, there's certain things that have to be created in the background. One of those are things like bit.ly links. To include a bit.ly link of the thing that you've created in the thing that you're creating, quite a challenge. So let's take this one, for example. This is in case you missed an update to 1 and 2. So here is a bit.ly link to a blog post, and you'll see when I open it, that's been created that is being updated each month. So the very first newsletter, the details are here. The second newsletter is here. And the third newsletter, which includes a schedule and the PDF itself, will go into this location. And then from this location, it'll have its links created. So that's one thing that I have to do. Writing the bits and pieces, putting the links in full in a letter, because although this is going out as a PDF, some people might print it out, and if it gets printed out, that means that the links themselves won't function, obviously, because it's a hard copy, so they have to be able to type them in. So that's also really important. However, there is a little reference here to the rules and standing orders that I want to give people the digital link if they want it, but actually if it's a printed off version, there's a compromise to how long the links can be and what links are going to be in there. So that one's not. The Facebook live links that I've been doing, obviously I want to try and reference those to people to encourage people who might know about these newsletters and might know about the Facebook posts, but because of the way their lives are with their work, with their real existences, actually engaging with a digital element takes time. And it may be that they want to, but it doesn't find a place to sit into their psyche. So a lot of the objective with these kind of newsletters, one is regularity, two is a certain amount of repeated content, so people don't have to go back and search for the content that they wish they had read before, so they can get it all up to date in one newsletter. And then the next time, a certain amount of that information will be there, but especially with linking previous newsletters into them, there is an element that it's building its own legacy within it. And I think that's really important when you're targeting an audience that you can't see in person. I don't have a list of people who are receiving this. I know that there are going to be around about 400 people who receive it, but because of how things are working at the moment, I don't know how many open it, how many read it. I don't have that data. Equity do, but it's not something that they have time to share with me. So I have to take that on faith that there are some stats there, and at some point I can go and have a look at them and go, oh, that's interesting. But actually, the driving force behind what I'm doing is not dependent on me knowing what the results are. I've just got to assume that a few people are opening it, and it's gonna work its magic. It's also a mechanism of me to archive stuff as it's going along as well. So there's links. I'm trying to share what's gone on. So these are photos I've taken at events that have then gone into my phone. And because my phone is syncing to Dropbox and Google Photos, I can pick those photos up from there. So I don't have to download them from devices. They're all going to Google Drive. Then at the end, I'm giving an idea of what's happening next, to give people a prep of what the next newsletter is going to be like. Because I'm not a paid equity person, I'm a volunteer, I obviously have my own business to run, and that means that my consistency might not necessarily be 100%. So last week we didn't get a newsletter out, but the objective of last week was to encourage the voting process for the motions. And because the branch didn't present a motion, we actually didn't have that process to go through. So I was gave myself a bit of free space to say, okay, well, I really must get the next one out, because this one is moving into the next phase, which is the election of our next General Secretary. And then at the end, I'd just like to put faces to names. I like people who are opening these newsletters to get a sense that there is a group of people behind this committee. And I'm so grateful to this little group here that's on the bottom of the screen for just being committed to driving the branch forward. So I've got the newsletter. So what am I going to do with it? I've got it saved. Well, it needs to be a PDF. Well, for the PDF basis, download PDF. That then gives you a copy of the newsletter as a PDF. The benefits of a PDF, and I can open the saved version here, is that it's fixed formatting. So I can send that and its formatting won't change. If you're using Word or you're using Google Docs or you're using anything that has fluid formatting within it, there is a chance that when someone opens it on their screen, they've got their settings differently and it will break, or it'll go over to 2 pages or 3 pages. I like things to be fixed, so that's why I think the PDF is the good mechanism. However, I do want to have a certain amount of tracking with this. So the first thing I will need to do is put this onto the web page, which was this, to be able to embed a version of this to generate a bit.ly link for it. That bit.ly link can then be sent out to people, and if I can get people to click that, I then get the opportunity to see if it is getting any traffic. So, PDF version, okay, so the point at which I got to here, where I go, I should really make this video, the stage that I'm at is turning a PDF into a JPEG so that I can put an image of the newsletter onto the website that I can then put the downloadable PDF next to. That was a very long way of getting to the point. I'm actually now at the point, so if you've watched up to this point, thank you very, very much. So, okay, the way I do this, I use, let's bring up the one that I use, PDF to JPEG.net. So with this one, I very quickly take and navigate to online branch newsletters, and then I find the PDF, which is this one here. I then take it up to here. I want it to be really nice, lovely quality, and I then convert it. That will then give me both pages. We've got page 1 and page 2. I'm just going to download page 1 and I'm going to put it, I'd already saved this, I'd had to correct an error, so I'm just going to make sure it's called the same thing as before and save it, and it will say, do I want to replace it? Yes, I do. And then page 2, I then take page 2 and I take out, it's identified as a copy, I will save it and that will go replace. So I now have the PDF as JPEGs. So whilst I'm on here, I'm going to go to the web service that I have my site on, which is Weebly. And this is my personal site. And on my personal site, I go to edit. And then when I'm editing, I need to go to the Seven Roads Goodies blog, which is what it is. This article, I need to open that up. So here we are. I now have the images of that newsletter. So I put one here and one beside it. This is going to be page 1. So let's upload page 1. It's going to think about it. And then on the bottom there, I'm pointing, you can't see, down here. So that's doing its upload. La, 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 la. So I use Weebly for a lot of clients that don't really want to do all the faffy WordPress stuff, because as you can see, this is really nice and simple once you've got your assets. So, oh, no, I think that's page 2 of that. I think I need to check that. I think I might have done page 1 wrong. So this puts, yep, that's right. So that's going to put the second page in. So that's the 2 pages as graphics. I want to make this light box so that when you click it, it makes it big. I'm going to do the same with this one to make that big. And then, of course, I want the downloadable version, which I can then create a link to. So, looking at the side here, I want to put in a file. We will put the file here. And then I will open la 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 la. I do this quite regularly, and I think it's really, I think it'd be interesting, I hope, for people to see how I pull things together, because when people sit and look over my shoulder, they kind of realise what's going on. And I think to show you the processes of bringing stuff together is very helpful to help my clients kind of understand what's going on. So here's the newsletter, nice 2 pages. That's going to upload, because it's really important that things look slick, but that things are quite easy to do. And this, creating the PDFs, then creating the JPEGs out of it, then putting it all in a location that I can also build the archives out of. Now I'm gonna name them the same as I have down here. So this is going to be OLB News Update ARC 03. So this is all leading up to the annual representatives conference, this strategy. And there's quite a lot to do between now and the annual conference. So I just click outside of there. There it goes. So there it is. And I'm actually now just going to update it. Now that publishes the site. So we have a published version of that. I can then click on the link to go to the public version, which is here. I then want to make sure that I'm actually in the blog post. So this is the long URL of this, and I want to turn it into bit.ly. Now I use across here the bit.ly extension. By clicking that gives me a URL to the website page. So there's 2020 updates that's already been created. So if other people share this link, although I can check this on my analytics, but other people would be able to check to see how that's doing. Now for the newsletter, so this at the moment, this is the newsletter, and here is the long link. if I want to turn this into a PDF, a bitly, that is how I go about doing that. And then when I get here, I have to check what my other newsletter convention links are. So if I go to Bitly, thinking on the fly and thinking, oh my goodness, going here, I've recently cleared my cache. So here we go, log in to Bitly, and I'm going to sign in with my Twitter name. And remembering passwords, that's another blog post of how I remember my log in with Twitter. There we go. It's just going to do it that way instead. Okay. So when I'm here, I will need to find my newsletters. So let's have a look for that's the remote access one that I did recently. So word, where do we? OLB update. So that's where I created that last time. Have I actually got? Oh, maybe I haven't done rules and standing orders. Oh, so I haven't actually got. So I can edit this. And this is ARC OLB news update 03. And then here I can give this something that is equity OLB ARC 03. Also good to have something that I can potentially remember if I need to, so I can quote it to people, which is really useful. This is becoming a much more into one video than I was intending, but I know I haven't done one of these for a while, so I really wanted to, partly a brain dump, partly this as well. Then I can copy that link, and then, as I say, if we close this down and I close this down and we close Weebly down and we close this down, that is the open version on my desk, so that when I put this link in to there, you get the newsletter. So that newsletter I can include as a link in Twitter. I can include that link in the Facebook to say, hey, look, I've done this. And then when people come to it, I start to get some stats on that. Also, other people can use that. So that is where I was at and I wanted to get to. So now from here, I will email Phil Pemberton, who is the organizer who looks after the online branch, and I will give him the link to the blog post, the newsletter. I will also give him the file itself, which he will put on the equity website, and they link to that. So all of that has now come together and I can send it off, and fingers crossed, online branch members will start receiving that in their inboxes in the next 48 hours. So thank you very much for watching this madness and mayhem of me unpacking my brain. And next time I think of some multiple services that I plug in to get to an end, I'll do another one. So thanks. And at PCM Creative, get in touch.